I-86 After Dark recommends simply the best cleaning services. Call 716-912-6940. Western New York's cleaning and restoration leader. From Buffalo to Long Island, this is I-86 After Dark.
Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome to I-86 After Dark. I am your co-host, Buffalo Bob, and I'm here with my partner in crime, the one and only, the great Dame, a.k.a. Damien Mike Wright. Damien, how you feeling?
Well, we were just talking about it before the recording went, so we'll get into it a little bit later about the Mets. So I think we're both going to have some good rants about that one.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about the Mets of all fucking teams. Who would thought that the Mets of all teams would be the team that pissed us both off this week? Who legitimately thought that?
I didn't, but they did a very good job of it.
Big time.
Well, we'll be getting to that later. We'll start with the football like we always do, the pigskin.
Yep, the good old pigskin, because, my God, we have a lot to go through. There's been some pros and there's been some cons on both sides. And I will say from that retrospective, woo!
Did you enjoy that? Did you enjoy that game this Sunday?
You know what? I'm not going to lie. I genuinely had a fucking aneurysm because I say this about every Bills game because it's not healthy for my mental health per se, but it was like I almost was at the point of resigning myself from the fact that the Bills were down by 10 late in the fourth quarter against the Cincinnati Bengals, and I was just like, they're not going to win this game. They have no shot at this point to even try to win this game. And then I remember, oh yeah, they might beat the Ravens. I mean, they were down by 15 at that time with 4.5 minutes left to go at that time?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this game was a little different for my liking because, for one, I wasn't expecting a 21-point deficit in 4.5 minutes in the fourth quarter. And a lot of Bengals fans were singing Kumbaya before the game even ended.
Yeah, well, come on. Cincinnati Bengal fans should know better than that.
Yeah, no, I know that, but, like, they were really riding on the high horse this week because it was like after they came home last week when the Bills played the Steelers. I remember, like, the day after that game happened, or, like, the Tuesday of that game, there were a lot of Bengals fans who were hyper-fixated the idea of, like, oh, you know, if the Bengals beat the Bills and they win their last 5 games, they could win the AFC North. And I'm like, how are you going to do that when your two division rivals are playing each other not only once but twice, and you have to play the Ravens again at some point in Cincinnati? And what if the Ravens just turn on the switch within the last 4 games?
I mean, it's possible, but I'd say very unlikely at this point.
Yeah, at this point, that's not happening. I think if they were to beat the Bills, then I obviously would have said otherwise, that they probably would have had a better chance of making it to not only to the playoffs as a wildcard team, but possibly winning the AFC North. I'm in disbelief, Damien, that the AFC North as a whole is a shit show this year.
I think the NFL as a whole was a shit show this year. I mean, for most of the year, everybody's talking about the Colts, and yeah.
No.
Well, Phillip Rivers is coming out of retirement.
Oh my God! Were the Colts that desperate? Were they that desperate?
Well, you know, we talked about from the beginning that my fantasy quarterback was Daniel Jones, and he got me to about 4th overall in a 10-team league. of course, this was the first round of the playoffs this week, and he went out after not even getting 1 point. And, of course, I lost. I'm out of the playoffs. So fantasy football's over for me.
Well, that's unfortunate. And we actually have a comment coming in. This is from Lawrence. He said, I turned it off when it was down by 10 in the fourth. Cincinnati had the worst defense in the league, but our defense only made 2 plays. Otherwise, the Bengals scored points, which, is a valid argument because it's like the Bengals are not good on paper. Joe Burrow saved their season just by proxy. He was out for like 9 games with that toe turf problem that sidelined him for 2.5 months, 3 months.
Yeah, but did you see the story about Joe Burrow? It came out today that he might consider early retirement because he has a lot going on in his personal life as well as issues that are on the field with the Bengals do.
Wait a minute. Time out.
I just saw this story today.
Don't bullshit me, Damien. Did he really? He came out and said that?
There's a story that came out. He's 29 years old. He's been in the league 6 years. He's on a Bengals team that I don't know. They fuck up a wet dream. So I don't know. I don't see him retiring, but he did walk away from OSU, Ohio State, and then went to LSU. So I don't know. It's a possibility.
Well, the difference between how he handled Ohio State compared to this situation was Ohio State, he wasn't getting any opportunities to play. That's why he transferred out of there and went to LSU. And then by some coincidence, got to play with Jamar Chase, got to play with Justin Jefferson. So all those guys were all on the same team when he was in college. But this situation is just different because, for one, Cincinnati has never established an offensive line in his entire career. And that's not even discounting the Super Bowl run, that 1 year where the Bengals went on that deep playoff run in the Super Bowl. So in that retrospective, I've seen the Bengals a handful of times. I've seen them play in Buffalo, and I've sure as hell seen them play in Cincinnati. The Bengals are a cheap organization, and they've ruined the prime years of Carson Palmer. They've ruined the prime years of Andy Munoz. They've wasted the prime years of Chad Ochocinco, and now they're wasting the prime years of Joe Burrow. It's kind of like they're in their own little shadow, and it's gotten to a point where they don't want to spend all their money. Mike Brown did not want to throw out that paycheck to Jamar Chase or to T. Higgins or for Joe Burrow. He didn't want to touch it, and then all of a sudden the pressure mounted. And it was either pay these guys or we're going to riot. And Mike Brown, what do you know, pays those 3 guys, and he ended up paying $14 million to Trey Hendrickson, who's done with the year, by the way. I think he had an ankle injury or something like that, and he got surgery on it. So he's out for the year. So the Bengals, to me, have been a complete disaster ever since they went on that fluke Super Bowl run.
I mean, this could be just Joe Burrow kind of, gaslighting everybody to try to get out of Cincinnati too.
I mean, it's a possibility, but here's the thing. I don't see him doing that, mainly because of his contract. I do see him, what you were saying earlier, he may want out of Cincinnati, which is also very true, because the Bengals destroy everything they touch because they're such an incompetent shit show. So that's number one. I can also see him using the leverage, if you remember Andrew Luck, and I know you do. Andrew Luck was on those shitty Colts teams for many, many years. He came into the league in 2012, and within that 6-7 years he was with the Colts, they were a very good team. And they went, and if I'm not mistaken, they went to an AFC Championship game. That was the infamous Deflategate scandal in New England with the Patriots at that time.
I'm surprised the Colts aren't trying out Andrew Luck.
Yeah, right. Andrew Luck, if you look at pictures of now, Andrew Luck is nowhere near in football shape anymore. And that's
no, he got big. The reason that Phillip Rivers is still kind of in shape is because he has like 1 million kids.
Well, that too, but it's very well true. And Lawrence came out with another comment. He said Higgins had clearly had a concussion during the game too, and was checked out 3 times for a head injury during the game. And I'm really glad you brought this up, because Higgins was cleared the first time. He got hit again, but it was a completely different injury. I think it was an ankle injury. He got cleared out for that. And then the third time, which you brought up, was a concussion. So my question is like, do you think the Bengals broke the NFL rule the same way the Dolphins did it with Tua, patted him down, and said, you're good to go, because they were in desperate need of a wideout?
Well, I just think that the NFL is still, at this point, not taking concussions serious enough. It's going to come back to bite them in the ass, with the CTE and everything that's coming out about that.
I mean, usually that's how this works, is that if you have a serious concussion issue, then it's going to lead to more problems, and it's going to lead to more downfalls and things like that. And Joe Burrow, I think, had multiple concussions, and he also had an ACL tear in his rookie year. And again, the Bengals, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, the Bengals never spend on anybody, whether it's payment on players, payment for health and things like that, medical stuff, food, important stuff. The Bengals have always been a bottom tier team to, in terms of the owners' reports. Mike Brown is usually in the bottom 7 every single year with like Woody Johnson or with any other incompetent owner that you can think of.
But you know who we got to talk about this week, though? Christian Benford.
Yes, Christian fucking Benford.
Yeah, defensive player of the week, and then comes back for another encore performance with another touchdown.
Yeah, that too. I mean, I'm very happy with the results, because it's like, for one, I wasn't expecting Joe Burrow to turn into Jameis Winston within the last quarter. I wasn't expecting him to do that. And again, I said it before, I thought the Bengals were sure thing going to win that game. And then all of a sudden, Allen runs in for the longest, run for a touchdown in Bills history. He's in the end zone. Okay, it might be decent. Then the Bengals go back on track, and then Benford gets the pick 6 off of Burrow, and then Adrian Epinesa gets an interception from Burrow also. So those 5 minutes, 10 minutes within that game, just everything was just squeezed out of it. And legitimately, it just became this big circle of like, what the hell am I watching here? What's going on here? I'm having too much fun in the damn snow. At this point, it was the perfect game to, be in this conversation,
Yeah. Well, I would say, like, since they lost to the Patriots the first time, the Bills have pretty much did their job, with the exception of the Texan game, to set up this matchup this week, this crucial matchup against New England in New England. So the Bills are hanging in there, and they made this game relevant, very relevant.
Yes.
For who's going to get the AFC East.
I think, because if you remember a few shows ago, I said that the AFC East was pretty much out of range at this point because of the cupcake schedule the Patriots have had for a while. And I kind of, conceded to say the Pats are probably going to win the division. But the game coming up is monumental, because if the Bills win this game, there'll be a game and a half back of the division. And then the following week, the Bills play the Browns in Cleveland, and the Patriots play the Ravens on Sunday Night Football. And plus, take into this account from Larry, he said if the Patriots win, they clinch. All right, but if they want to clinch and get the number 2 seed, here's my scenario, which we're going to get to more into this in a little bit, is if the Patriots get the number 2 seed, right? If they get the number 2 seed, they would most likely play the Texans. And if you know anything about the Texans in the last couple of weeks, they have the best defense in football.
Yeah, they're getting better. It's also Stephon Diggs going back to Houston, too.
Yeah, that's definitely something for certain. But
you were just talking about that cupcake schedule that they had. You know that the Patriots only had 3 wins this season against winning teams.
3.
The 7-6 Carolina Panthers, the 7-6 Tampa Bay Bucks, and of course Buffalo the first time. That's it.
I think the Buffalo game was a fluke, But here's the thing that's been really getting under my skin is a lot of Pats fans, as you know, during the Dynasty era, they were cocky and arrogant, entitled, and narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were everything you could think of an arrogant fan base. They were like Yankee fans on steroids. So now, because of where they stand, they think the division is back in their favor, even if they win it this year. They think Drake May is better than Josh Allen, even though Drake May has proven nothing yet. He's only in his second year. And then on top of all that, they say, well, Bills fans, you had an opportunity to win the Super Bowl when we were bad. Oh, we've been bad for so long. You've been bad for so long? Yo, you guys have only been... Yeah, you've only been bad for what? 4 years, 5 years, and you're telling us you've been bad for so long? You know what? The fucking Browns have been worse than you. The Jets are worse than you. The Giants, your overlord daddies, are worse than you. And you're going to say that you've suffered the most? How fucking dare you? How dare
Jets are now at 15 years without the playoffs. 15.
Yeah, really. I mean, Bills fans, too, you know, we're in this entitlement as well. Yeah, we're arrogant. We're entitled sometimes, but not all the time. It's not like we go around saying, oh, we have Tom Brady on our team. But the fact that the Bills are in this conversation as we speak about possibly winning the division again, if all goes well, the Bills would have to beat the Pats, and the Pats would have to lose to the Ravens in Baltimore, mind you, in the next 2 weeks. So the Bills would have to win out to win the division.
Which is possible. I mean, but I don't think, especially this year, it would be nice to win the AFC East, but I don't think it's necessary that they win the AFC East. Only because you're looking at possibly the big three quarterbacks besides Allen to be out of the playoffs this year in the AFC with Mahomes, Jackson, and Burrow. So it's right for the picking.
As it should be. And if they don't win it this year, and a lot of people are now putting the pressure on Buffalo, if they make the playoffs this year, which I think they're going to at this point, they have a 92% chance as of this now to make the playoffs. I do think that because Mahomes, Jackson, and Burrow are all not in it, this conference is wide open. And I'm going to call it now. I would not be shocked come February, and you can say whatever you want, Damian. I don't give a fuck. If I'm right about this, then kudos to me. I have a pat on my back. I think the Super Bowl so far this year, based on everything, is going to be Bills-Rams in San Francisco, and the Bills win the Super Bowl with Josh Allen being MVP.
Okay, I think people in Buffalo will take it.
I believe that too. But I'm just so sick and tired of Patriots fans acting like they've been so bad for so long and have the audacity to be this arrogant because you have the first seed so far in the division. Bitch, if it weren't for that Buffalo game earlier this year, if the Bills didn't fall flat on their ass, you would not be in this conversation right now.
No, and they're only favored by 1.5 right now at home against this Bills team. So even the Vegas bettors aren't really high on them either.
Yeah, and the media is like, oh, New England is so good. Oh, Drake May is the next prophecy. He's Tom Brady 2.0. It's like, shut the fuck up, all right? Hold on to your high horse because you guys have not accomplished shit since Brady was there. I don't even know if Drake May is like, I understand that he's in the conversation for MVP, but it's like, I don't even know if he's going to be any good in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. Drake May looks like a clone of Tom Brady with like a couple less chromosomes.
Kind of, yeah. I could see where that is. But speaking of the playoffs, oh my God, we have a lot to get into. So we actually have to go through a bunch of comments from Larry, and he says, hey, we're not all arrogant. I'm a Yankees fan.
Larry's extremely arrogant. Extremely.
Really? He's just smoking a cigar? 27! Yeah, we're not arrogant. We say 27 whenever we lose an argument.
They're still mad about Soto.
Yes, he is. And then Allen will have to be Super Josh with our defense and no passing game. Well,
okay. Well, you might have to be, but
you might have to be. But if that's what it takes to win a Super Bowl, I bitched about this a few weeks ago, saying, they faded away from helping Josh to letting him do everything on his own. I don't want them to do that. I want them to give him the best amount of supporting cast members come playoff time. Because it was already bad enough that they didn't do anything to help Josh at the trade deadline a month ago. And then now they get all these bums. Oh, and did I tell you, speaking of bums, Darius Slay decided to be a little bitch about this.
I know, we did forget about it because that was like right after we recorded last time.
Yeah, really. Like the story took place on I think it was Wednesday when we did that episode.
Yeah, it was Wednesday, and then Thursday it was done or something.
It's like, what the fuck is going on here? And you know what's ironic? My wife and I went to Target that day the story came out about Darius Slay saying he didn't want to go to Buffalo. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And then his argument was so stupid. And
yeah, that was the dumbest shit ever, the weather. And I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, really. Okay. I've heard LaShawn McCoy say this when he first got traded to the Bills. He's like, oh, I don't want to, this was obviously 10 years ago. He's like, oh, I don't want to go to Buffalo. It's a losing environment. It's always cold. And I'm like, well,
but it's not that anymore. It's not that anymore. I'm like, when McCoy came over, sure, yeah, they were still in that culture of losing, but I don't think they're in that culture anymore.
No, and they haven't for a while. But here's the argument that I don't understand from Darius Slay. Why would you not go to Buffalo when you've been spending 14 fucking years, a good portion of it in Detroit, in a dome, in a city that is very cold in the winter, and they're lucky they're not outside, versus Philadelphia, which you won a Super Bowl. I think he won 2 Super Bowls.
I think he might have got 2. I don't know if he was there for the first one, but
I don't think he was, but I'll double check real quick.
But if it was all weather related, wouldn't everybody want to play for the Miami Dolphins? Nobody wants to play for that fucking team.
No, I mean, what difference does it make? What if you go to the Buccaneers? Oh, it's warm over there. I don't want to go over there. What if? Okay, I have a better one. How about all the California teams? God forbid, it's fucking hot over in San Francisco. Oh, I don't want to get chafing in my crotch when I run the ball. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. You play a game and you make millions of dollars. I understand you're 35, but lighten the fuck up, dude.
Yeah. Like, but to get back to Larry's comment about Allen having to be Super Josh, I think he's going to have to be, and this is the year to do it, because if he can bring a Super Bowl to Buffalo, he'll go down in like lore here. Like, people here worship Jim Kelly, and he lost 4 straight Super Bowls. If Josh could bring a Super Bowl to Buffalo, I mean, he'd be godlike here.
Pretty much. And then Larry added a comment saying he wanted to play for the Eagles again, and they had a claim on him, and he won a Super Bowl last year with them. Okay, but here's the argument. Darius Slay was on waivers. And yes, on Wednesday, because I'll tell you a quick story. I went to, what's it called? He was waived on Tuesday by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Wednesday, last week, I went to Ritvic Cards in Cedarhurst in Long Island to meet Emil Heineman. During that meet and greet, I actually got the message about Darius Slay saying he was signing with the Bills. 2 days later was when the story came out, and the Eagles were ahead of the Bills at the time, and they had the opportunity to grab him, but they chose not to. Maybe because they felt they had enough depth in the secondary and didn't need him anymore. Then when he found out, he was going to Buffalo and not Philadelphia, he bitched a storm. Antonio Brown bitched up a storm. Shady McCoy bitched up a storm. The difference between Shady and Slay and AB is Shady actually shut his mouth, got paid, and played pro football in Orchard Park.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you remember back in like 2000, 2001. I know it's a different sport, but when Osgood went on waivers, and the Islanders, well, actually, he was out of the league, and then he had to clear waivers to come back into the league, and Detroit thought they were going to get him back, and then the Islanders swooped in and got him, and at first he didn't want to come and play for them, but he ended up coming and playing. And he was pretty good for us for that 1 year.
Wasn't that the year when DP got hurt?
Oh, no, this was before DiPietro.
No, because DP was drafted in
wait, no. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was gonna say because he wasn't on that playoff team because he was on LTIR at the time.
Yeah.
But
He was already on the IR. Yeah.
I remember that happened. Again, different sport. I remember this happened because we're talking about Chris Osgood. I remember this happened with Evgeny Nabokov when he was on waivers by San Jose, and the Islanders claimed him, and there was a big dispute with his contract, and he didn't want to play for the Islanders because they were in a bad, time frame and all that shit. And then Gartno did his magic at that time, and I'm saying that very lightly, so don't tell me that I was saying that Gartno was a fucking god, but he did his work. Yeah, and he did his due diligence, and he came to Long Island and played some good hockey here. So there you go.
So how do you feel that the Bills are going to do against the Patriots this week?
Well, I don't like to give out predictions, but I think they can do it. I don't think they're in their favor, or I don't think they're in the mood to get swept by a division rival. Especially that first game was winnable for the Bills, but they got
they better shut down Diggs though. That was ridiculous the last game.
Oh yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, that Patriots game was a shit show. They had no game plan for Diggs, and people who I'm sure you that had Stephon Diggs on their fantasy team were just letting up with points. They were all over the fucking place for that one. And we actually have some comments coming in. One is from Larry. He said he's washed up anyway. He's ass. Well, okay. Well, the Bills said, they
but he was a cheap ass at least.
That's very true. And then, of course, oh my God, the Damien Micro fan club is back. He said,
I thought we scared you away, Jay. I was like, where the hell is he? He hasn't been here the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, Jay, we've been asking about you in the last couple of weeks because we wanted to talk about the Jets for a little bit when they were in their coverage, and then you didn't show up. But that's okay. But he said, you're back, Jay's back, and now it's a show. What's happening, guys? And then he asked you, Dame, where's your Emil Heineman jersey at?
I don't have one. I know Bobby just got to meet him.
Yeah, in fact, if you want to see it, Jay, there it is. Emil Heineman's right here, number 51 in the hat. And I have a picture of him, which I don't have here, but
oh boy, you gotta load that up. I just actually got a new jersey in the mail the other day, but it's a Matthew Schaefer baby.
Well, I mean, I can't go wrong with that one.
I was hedging my bets that he'll be around for a while.
Yeah, but I love Matthew Schaefer, but I'm not ready to declare him anything like yet.
Well, no, I'm not going to go that far. People are crazy.
Oh, are you kidding? People will do that anyway. They would be like, well, he was great here, but he bitches a few years later and says, I won out. And God forbid he becomes a hero. I mean, look at all the Mets jerseys that people had for Pete Alonso. They thought he was going to be a Met for life, and now look at him.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, but you know what, though? I will say real quick before we move on is, yes, I do think the Bills could do it. I don't think they want to go down another path from the early 2010s, always being New England's bitch. I don't think they want to be in that situation.
No, and I don't think anybody could stomach that again.
Yeah, no. But I just hope they come prepared. That's really the big thing. But Jade left you a comment. He said, I appreciate it, fellas. Much love and head is gold. It must have been a cool-ass guy to meet with, Bob. And you know what? Yes, he's kind of like my twin cousin, almost in a sense, because we both have blonde hair. So it was kind of neat, honestly. And it was in a very small car shop that opened like 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the opportunity to meet him on a day I don't really get to do this kind of shit. And there you go.
I wish I lived closer to do that. But I gotta meet Buffalo Sabres and Buffalo Bills.
Or how about this? Why don't you meet the alums if you get an opportunity? Meet the players who played for the Islanders and then who also happen to play for the Sabres and just sign whatever you have.
Oh, that's what I usually try to do.
Good idea, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. But as far as the playoff race goes, how do you feel about everybody? AFC, NFC, how do you feel about it?
Like I said, I think this could be the Bills' year because a lot of those bigger quarterbacks are out. This is the time of year you got to get hot at the right time. You got to start clicking at the right time. So even though they've struggled in the middle of this season, you can just put that in the rearview mirror and let's march forward.
That's my philosophy at this point. It's like, yeah, I've had my criticism on McDermott and Allen and Bean. I've said it. I am never going to sugarcoat it. But I think the boys will bounce back, and I think that they're going to come out with a better game plan this time around against the Patriots. It was Drake May and all those guys. And I know Foxborough. I've been in there. I've been to Gillette Stadium. It's a very nice stadium. But Foxborough in December, it is freezing over there.
Really?
Oh, yeah. That was actually one of the excuse me. That was one of the first Road to 32 episodes I've ever done. I think it was actually the second one I've ever done. The first one was the Chiefs, and then the Patriots were right after that. But
gotcha.
I've already told that story a handful of times. But yeah, no, man, it was fun. But in Foxborough, I think is going to be a completely different ball game for the Bills at this point. It's not like last year where it was January, it was freezing cold, the Patriots were ass, and they were trying to get the first overall pick, but the Bills pushed the right buttons at that time, rested all their starters, let all the secondary practice squad players go out there and play, and Joe Milton was the quarterback, and then the Patriots won, and that prevented them from getting what's the hell is his name? Cam Ward, but it could have been like someone else for all we know.
Well, at least you'll get to see some playoff football coming up soon, as opposed to me and my Giants.
Oh, God, yeah. How did you enjoy the bye week, by the way?
Well, they didn't lose, so that was a good thing. The thing is like right now, they're in the number one spot for the first overall pick as we stand right now.
Yes.
But, of course, they have 3 games left. And it's going to be Washington this week without Jaden Daniels, the Raiders, and then the Cowboys. So it would not even surprise me if the Giants won all 3 of these games and fucked themselves.
I don't know about that. At minimum, I could see them winning 2. Because I'll put it this way. If the Cowboys are somehow in contention, because I know they always are, but if for some reason the Cowboys are in it within like the final day, they're not going to bench their starters. They're going to go out with everything they got to try to potentially make the playoffs. That's
the only thing the Giants have going for them. But I'm sure Dallas, if Dallas is out of it, I'm sure they'd like to stick it to the Giants too, not get that one of those top picks.
Yeah, but we'll see. But Jay left us a few comments. His first one is, you can't talk about my Jets, though. I mean, they are some shit. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. The Jets have been ass.
We were going to talk about your Jets and when they lost to the Sabres, but now since then, the Jets have beat the Sabres.
I think the Sabres mentally broke the Jets, but we'll get to that in the second half. And then he also said, this should be the Bills' year, but I can't sleep on the Rams. I got the Rams over the Lions on Sunday. Well, I think that's a given because let me put it this way, Jay. The Panthers beat the Rams a few weeks ago, and anything is possible. I think the Rams are a very good team, but they're not like a mega team. There's no mega team. It's not like last year where it was like Detroit or Buffalo or even Philly for that matter. This whole year is just like wide open. And 3 of the 4 elite teams in the AFC are not even going to make the playoffs this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the Rams are going to be going all in because I mean they have Stafford. He's not getting any younger.
Well, they have to. I mean, even if they don't win it this year, they still got a ring when they had their window wide open at that time with, Aaron Donald and then Jalen Ramsey and OBJ. And this is also respectively. So I like the Rams. They're a very good team. But I'm just not sure. I mean, if the Rams play the Bills in the Super Bowl, then I'm all for it. But my opinion could obviously change. I could very well be wrong about this. But we'll see what happens. But there's more to it than we think. But speaking of the NFL, did you hear about the new turf rule that's been coming out?
I did a little bit of research on it because I thought when they were talking about possibly getting rid of turf that they wanted to go to all grass, but then they're talking about these other turf, synthetic turf. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's why we're here, right? So, according to multiple sources, the NFL is introduced a new field surface standards, and all teams must comply by the end of 2027, and then all fields must meet the same surface standards. And the NFL will implement a program that is going to require teams to choose a field surface that will come, quote, from a library of approved and accredited NFL fields, and anyone who has an existing field will have to replace it by the end of the 2027 NFL season.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess instead of saying, all right, we're only going to do turf or are we going to do grass? What I think they're doing here is they're giving teams options to play with whatever version of the turf they want to play. And I think it's going to be, has a lot to do with like AI or even by the creative team. So anybody could do it for that matter. You know what I mean? Like it's very possible that, that we could see like one field having to be grass, one field having to be turf, and one field being like a grass turf hybrid. We could see that in 2 years from now.
But what's like the notorious fields around the league that this is a problem besides MetLife?
Well, MetLife has a big problem with this. Cincinnati has a big turf problem. I've been to a handful of the stadiums in the National Football League, and I've been doing it for about 4 years before my son is going to be born. So I've been able to get an opportunity to play in, 13, 14 stadiums. And I can be absolutely positive that there are teams that have really bad turf conditions. The Steelers have really bad conditions. The Commanders have really bad conditions.
But Jets, the Steelers is grass too, and it's that bad.
It's
kind of like San Francisco. San Francisco is pretty bad too.
Yeah, I have not been to San Francisco yet, although I'd like to go down there at some point for the Niners. But the point is that the NFL has a very serious issue with not only the turf, you're also accounting for players' injuries, concussions, ACL tears, Achilles. How many star players in the last 2 years have been getting injured like tremendously to the point where teams have to, limit their options of like what they could do. The Colts are the Colts are a good example of what's happening here. I mean,
well, you just named the big three. You named the big three injuries: Achilles, ACL, and concussions.
Yeah, that's the big thing with a lot of these players is that their careers are short. But I think what the NFL's trying to do is they want to give teams an option to pick whatever turf they believe is going to work or what's appropriate, and what they think is appropriate or necessary. That's what they're going to go with down the road. That's my belief. Yeah. And the other thing too that the NFL also did, I don't know if you got this one, but I think this is going to absolutely matter. And I think it starts in Pittsburgh in 2026, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. You know how in the draft, usually it goes for like 3.5, 4 hours, and it's so it's so intentionally boring, and people are just like, make up your damn mind, just get this over with, and it drags on and on and on. You know how that happens?
Oh, I know. I had buddies that drove all the way to the draft one year, and it was the year that the Bills traded down 3 times and never drafted in the first round.
Yeah, and drafted Keon Coleman in that draft. Fuck, man. But yeah, the reason I'm bringing this up is the NFL notified teams today that it will shorten the time between picks in the first round of the draft from 10 minutes to 8 minutes, starting with the 2026 NFL draft in Pittsburgh. And this will shorten the length of the first round, which has been finishing around 11:45, 11:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And teams were on board. And Commissioner Roger Goodell had first mentioned this possibility on Friday in Green Bay's draft at the Pat McAfee show.
Is that going to mean less commercial revenue, though?
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, they'll just up the price of the commercials on the rest.
I mean, could you imagine if they actually did slimmer down on like commercials and endorsements like that just for people to say, hey, let's do this? Because personally, I think the draft, based on everything that's happening, should be shortened to at least around quarter to 11. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I would like to see 11 at the latest.
Yeah, because for me, the draft has been an issue for many, many years. And I watch the draft every year, especially in the first round. And
I usually watch some of it anyway.
Yeah, and it just keeps going and going and going and going. And it's like people have complained and bitched for years about it. It's like, can we at least, see the draft get down shorter? Like, I know they're taking that approach with baseball with pitching clocks, but it's the same ordeal.
I know. I'm still not used to baseball because it'll be like a 7 o'clock start and I'll get home at like 9 and I'll be like, I'm going to put the Mets game on. I'm like, oh, it's over already.
Yeah, and not to mention they used to have games starting around like 7:40 on a Tuesday night in the middle of the summer.
I hate that. I hate when the NHL does that during playoffs. It's like, oh, we got an 8:30 start. It's like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah, like if you're a Central team, yeah, but I think it could be maneuvered. But here's one thing, and this is a really interesting question: is how the hell are they able to make it an 8 o'clock game Eastern Standard Time, and every team in the Stanley Cup Finals has the same time frame?
I don't know.
I wish I knew. And we actually have a score update real quick. The Blackhawks just scored 1-0 over the New York Rangers on TNT. So if you want to check that game out, go for it.
I guess we got some comments here too.
Oh, yes. Go for it. Larry said,
Larry, Lions and Bills would be awesome in the Super Bowl. I agree, but does the NFL actually want that? Probably not.
No, trust me, they want the Bills and the Rams because they want Josh Allen to get a ring before the new Bill Stadium. Jay
said they announced the NFL revenue. They made $6.8 billion last year. I did see that.
That's pretty damn good.
And he also said the 49ers are a sleeper team.
I don't know about the Niners. I'm not sure about the 49ers. I think they're too banged up.
They're always hanging around there. They're always hanging around.
I mean, true, but you also take it into account that, the 49ers have been very good for a while. But I feel like this year, like their chances at a Super Bowl have slammed shut just because of all the injuries they've had in the last couple of months.
They've been good since some guy named Colin Kaepernick, I think was his name.
Well, they did go to the Super Bowl twice with Brock Purdy, of all people.
Yeah.
They did. But I don't know. My gut is I don't think the Niners are going to make the playoffs. But if you want to know the standings as far as the conference go in the NFC, this is your order as of this recording. You have the Rams, the Packers, the Eagles, the Buccaneers, the Seahawks, the 49ers, and the Bears.
I mean, if I had to choose a team in there that I would love to see go on a run would be the Bears. But let's be realistic. The NFC, God, they're so much weaker than the AFC.
True. But you know what, though? I would love to see. I mean, you might disagree with me on it, but could you imagine if Seattle goes on a deep playoff run?
Yeah, I mean, because they got a really good defense, but I don't know.
Yeah, and then take this into account. In the AFC, you have the Broncos, the Patriots, Jaguars, Steelers, Chargers, Bills, and the Texans.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, this is wide open for the Bills this year. They got to take advantage of this.
They have to. If they don't make the playoffs, that's incompetence.
I know this is not one of the stronger Bills teams under McDermott. We all know that. But this has got to be the easiest path to the Super Bowl they've had.
And you better take advantage of it. Because I am telling you right now, if they fuck up, you will never see this advantage ever again. It's kind of like
if they fuck up. If they fuck up, I'm sorry, but McDermott has to go. That's the last. That's done. He's got to go.
I agree 100%. And then Ed Blas, except they suck against the great defense, has shown me a win this Sunday. What do you mean? They stopped the run against the Bengals. Chase Brown's a pretty damn good running back, if you ask me. They have been getting better on the run, though, in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well, I told you about that stat when they signed Slay that the Bills secondary actually has given up the least amount of yards in the league. And I was like, wow. I thought I was reading it wrong.
Well, you weren't, unfortunately, but you were not wrong. But put it like this. If you take the Bills from a few weeks ago, Ed Oliver was a big playmaker. Michael Hoyt was a big playmaker on stopping the run. When I know Hoyt played 2 games because he started suspension because he was being a fucking idiot. But I did read recently that Ed Oliver has a very small window, and it's a pretty good window too, if you ask me. He has a very good window open for him to make it into the first game of the playoffs come January, if the Bills make the playoffs.
Gotcha. Well, Ed came back here too. I think he was talking about the defense going against a good defense.
No, I said the Bengals have a good run game. I didn't say the defense. The Bengals
yeah.
pass.
I think that's what I was saying. I think he was just talking about going against a good defense.
So what are we saying here? I mean,
I guess he's saying the Patriots have a good defense.
I mean, it's possible the Patriots have a very good defense, but look at New England. They're basically black and white right now. I mean, it's very possible that their schedule could make them look really good, but they also could very well be a fluke. And if you want to talk about great defenses, how about the Ravens in the beginning of the year? The Ravens had a very good defense in the beginning of the year. I mean, the Buccaneers have a pretty good defense as well, and they're healthy. I mean, there's still guys. The Steelers' defense, I know, is ass, but normally any given year, their defense is pretty stellar. I'm not saying Houston is all glory and God here, but let's be honest. Every year in the NFL, look at the Eagles. They had a very good defense last year. The Texans have a very good team this year defensively. The Eagles' defense this year is horrendous.
Yeah. Well, I think the last time they faced a really good defense was the Texans, and they struggled in that game.
Yeah, they did not prepare for that game because that was all McDermott at that point. They did not prepare. And Ed said, "What the good news is that we are getting healthy. Let's hope those guys can come back strong." And then he said, "What happened against the Texans?" Yes, we know. I just said it. The Bills outright did not prepare against the Texans. I mean, Kansas City was fucking terrible. So it's not just all Buffalo, mind you. KC was horrible against Houston, mind you. And, okay, let me put it this way. I don't think the Bills, based on what happens, I don't think they would win the division. I could see them winning the division, but I don't think it's going to happen. It all comes down to Sunday. But imagine if the Bills won the division. Do you really want to play the Texans in the first round of the playoffs?
Not really.
I don't. That's what I thought. That's what I fucking thought, Damien. That's what I fucking thought.
It never goes well. It never goes well for them.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. So I'd rather, if they want to win the division, beat the Patriots for all I matter, I would love that. But the consequence is going to be they either likely play the Chargers or they play the Texans.
Yeah.
Worst of both worlds.
Well, look, you're getting really angry and your face is turning red. I think it's time to bring in the positivity bunny.
Oh, fuck the positivity bunny. Yeah, because that worked out so fucking well for the Eagles.
Yeah, I know. Well, when you sent me the story about the positivity bunny, it reminded me of last year with the rubber chicken with the Islanders when they went to Vegas. And somebody left a rubber chicken in Anders Lee's stall, and then this rubber chicken went all over the road trip with them.
I guess that's
players are so superstitious; it's ridiculous.
Yeah, really. But so, for those of you who don't know, the Philadelphia Eagles installed a quote positivity rabbit into the locker room, and this is so fucking stupid. It showed up on Saturday. It showed up on Saturday, and the offensive line stressed to Ashley Sullivan, who works for the Philadelphia Inquirer, and they told her that they are not sad. They just wanted a good vibes bunny. But it's not just any bunny, mind you. It's a blow-up doll of the Easter Bunny. It's the Easter Bunny, and I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, what is going on here? And then, next thing you know, Monday Night Football. Easily the worst game of the season. Easily.
Yeah, well, you know how I had to watch Monday Night Football because, of course, I don't have all the streaming services. I had to watch that game as Monsters, Inc. My kids really enjoyed it.
I actually took a preview of what that was all about, and I said, God damn it, this looks horrible. And it's like Sully was on like the Chargers.
Yeah.
And then Mike Wazowski
Yeah.
was on
they loved it. They kept going. My kids thought it was the most hilarious thing with that little green booger running everywhere.
Mike Wazowski. I mean, I love that movie, but that's probably not a good marketing idea. It could work with like The Simpsons, but why Monsters Inc.?
I have no idea. It wasn't very interesting. I think I enjoyed one part of it when they went to like a sideline reporter and she was talking shit about Mike. And so,
Yeah.
that was like the best part.
Yeah, but if you want to talk about statistics from that game, oh my God, that was horrible. I mean, Jalen Hurts completed for 240 passing yards on Monday against the Chargers, and he had a 52.5% completion rating and had 4 interceptions. 4 interceptions against the Chargers. Justin Herbert was no better. Justin Herbert had 139 passing yards with a 46.1 completion rating, 1 INT, and 1 interception. 1 touchdown and 1 INT. Jesus fucking Christ.
Horrible.
Oh, God. The game was so bad that I read a report that A.J. Brown, after the game, because the Positivity Bunny was in the locker room, it traveled with the team in L.A.
Retired early?
Yeah, he took out like a knife and popped the fucker. I guess that's not going to last very long at this point.
No, I think that's pretty much done, that bunny. And then Ed said SpongeBob was better when Patrick was making fun of Mahomes. That shit was great. I didn't see it, so I don't know. Larry said Hurts had an INT and a fumble on the same play. I didn't see that. First player ever to do so.
I saw that. That was hilarious.
And then Jay, what you guys think of Shedeur Sanders' last 2 games? What's your guys' thoughts on the horrible 2-point attempt?
I'm going to put it this way, Jay. I do not think Shedeur Sanders is a good quarterback. The only reason why he's even on the field to begin with, because Daddy made threats to the executive saying, if you don't put my son out there, because this is the ego of the Sanders family, if you don't put my shitty quarterback son out on the field, I'm going to make sure you lose your job in the NFL. Whether if you're a GM or a coach, I will make sure that everybody on the Browns gets fired.
I don't know. It can't be any worse for the Browns this season, honestly.
I mean, it's fucking Cleveland. Everything they touch turns to shit. So I'm really not that surprised by this comment. And I'm pretty sure they played the Raiders. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, if it was like sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
Now, if this was like the Texans or the Lions, Shedeur would throw a bitch fit. There's a reason Shedeur played in his debut game against a shitty team like the Raiders.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
There's a reason for everything.
Yeah, I was just gonna tell you we're approaching an hour and we still got a lot of hockey and some baseball to talk about. So I didn't know if you wanted to go to commercial.
Yes, that's what we're gonna do now. I gotta catch my breath because my throat's a little dry. Drink some water and
your face is a little red. Yep.
Well, it's actually from the lighting, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, really. See, just with my hat. Nighttime, tick time. Nighttime, tick time.
Yeah, well, like I said, we got a lot of hockey and then some baseball at the end. That
definitely
we're gonna get very red for.
Yeah, Mike Wazowski. Yep. So we'll be right back after these commercials. This episode of I-86 After Dark is brought to you by the Long Island Bills backers. If you're a Buffalo Bills fan living on Long Island, there's only one place to be on game day. Instant Replay in Huntington Station, New York, with 56 TVs, 4 pool tables, and an atmosphere that feels just like Orchard Park. You'll never miss a snap. Grab one of their delicious burgers, sink your teeth into their award-winning wings, or try their stacked sandwiches. There's something for everyone. So join the Long Island Bills backers this season and be part of the biggest Bills family on the island. Check out their Facebook group or just scan the QR code in our show notes to get connected. Go Bills! Welcome back to I-86 After Dark, and this is going to be the second half of the show because me and Damien were going on for almost an hour about football, talking about the positivity bunny, right, Damien? Isn't that funny?
Mm-hmm. They should have just hired the Energizer Bunny, man. They could have made some money off of it.
I mean, after all, they could have just kept going and going and going.
And going.
But, yeah, no, man. So we have a lot of hockey to go to, and one of the teams that we're going to talk about, because I think it's important, because Damien and I are wearing the hats, is the New York Islanders. And the Islanders have been on a roll as of late, and they've won 3 of their last 4 games, and 2 of them are against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And they beat the Avs, and they beat the Knights. So, question, Damien, audience, you can answer this as well. Are the Islanders contenders?
Well, I wouldn't quite put them in contender status yet. Like I said, I still think they're a couple pieces away. I kind of hope they don't mortgage the future to try and get closer. Like I said, they lost 2 players this month in Palmieri and Romanoff for the season. So they're already down 2 key pieces, but that's where I was fine. I wanted to see what Shabanoff had, and I wanted to see what Richie had, and both of them have provided a little bit of a spark, and to a lesser degree, also Gatcomb being called up from the AHL. That dude just hits everything. I like it.
Absolutely, and Gatcomb's been kind of hanging around with the team for a little while, consistently going in from Bridgeport to Long Island and from Bridgeport to Long Island. So he's kind of been all over the place, but that's okay. But
yeah, I saw him last month in Rochester, and he was clearly the best player on the ice for the Bridgeport Islanders.
Yeah, no. And you know what's funny, too, is I don't really get a lot of Bridgeport Islander games, even though I live in Long Island, although I should. Considering that we're literally like one state over in Connecticut, which is really like dumb on my end. But yeah, no, I got to check it out. At this point, I got to say Gatcomb is probably one of the better players on the Bridgeport Islanders.
Well, I guess, you kind of recapped a little bit of the week just to go into it real quick. Since we last talked, they beat Colorado 6-3. Then they beat Tampa Bay 2-0 on a shutout for Sorokin, who ended up tying the Islanders' all-time record for 25 shutouts now with Glenn Chico Rush. So his next shutout, he was going to hold the all-time record. Then they had a stinker in Florida, 4-1. But the score is kind of misleading. It was basically a 2-1 game with only like 5 minutes left to go in the game. It was a back-to-back. I don't really fault them for that. But then they played Vegas the other night, and they ended up winning that game 5-4 in the shootout of all things.
I'll put it this way. I wasn't really expecting them to do this. I really wasn't. And the fact that they were even able to beat Tampa Bay twice, because the last few years, whenever the Islanders play the Lightning, it's always like non-competitive. But I feel like now that the momentum is starting to shift and the coaching staff is starting to change a bit and the vibes are starting to come into play, I feel like the Islanders are now taking a golden opportunity, and they've won 2 of them, by the way, as you just said, and they're literally putting themselves in the argument for one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. And I think what's even more impressive is they're even able to beat teams like Colorado, beat teams like Vegas, who are juggernauts in the Western Conference. And yet they're able to get points out of all this, which is fucking crazy to me. 8 points in the last like 3 or 4 games. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's
the top 2 teams in the league right now are Colorado and Dallas. And there's only been one team that's really put both of those teams to the limit, and that's the Islanders.
Yeah. And I think it's a coaching system. Because if you remember, going back into the summer before we rebranded, I briefly talked about the Islanders bringing in Ray Bennett. I also briefly talked about Bob Buckner. I said Ray Bennett is going to bring a huge benefit, and he's going to bring a big benefit to the Islanders. I know he's running their power play or their penalty kill. I think it's their power play. Oh, no. It's their penalty kill. I apologize. And when Ray Bennett got brought in from Colorado, this is a West Coast guy. So he knows the ins and outs of the Western Conference. So playing games like Vegas or Dallas or Colorado even, it brought this extra spark to the team. And usually when they play the powerhouse teams, they usually just fold like that.
Yeah. I mean, and then the upcoming schedule this week, they have the Ducks tomorrow, Tampa Bay again on Saturday for Pat LaFontaine night, and the Red Wings on Tuesday. So the schedule's not going to get much easier.
It's not going to get easier, but it's definitely going to benefit them. And mind you, by the way, I actually have a very special announcement to tell you guys. So if you guys stick around, because we're going to be on a shorter leash next week, if you're interested in listening, because we are bringing in 2 people for the first ever I-86 After Dark Sabres Islanders game day preview. The game is on December 20th. Damon's going to the game against the Buffalo Sabres. And we're going to be bringing in Gil Martin from Lockdown Islanders and Seymour H. Knox IV, the son of Seymour H. Knox III, the original owner of the Buffalo Sabres. Both of these men are going to be joining us on I-86 After Dark for the game day preview next week at 8:30. So keep that in mind. We're going to be on a shorter leash next week, and Damien and I will probably be here at minimum. And just wanted to let you guys know in ahead of time what we're doing.
Yeah, so, you're going to have to clean it up a little bit.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, no cursing in front of it.
Oh, actually, you know what's funny? I already did.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, which is extremely ironic, just because they're, big iconic people. The interview that we did with Seymour H. Knox IV actually just got published 2 minutes ago. So if you want to check out that interview, it is available on YouTube and Spotify. And believe me, we tell every person we interview the leash is off, because we're underground. So yeah.
Yeah, we're deep underground.
Way too deep underground. Down the rabbit hole we go. But at any rate, so 8:30, both Gil Martin and Seymour Knox are going to be on I-86 After Dark previewing the Islanders-Sabres game next week at 8:30 p.m., so you don't want to miss it.
Yeah. And if anybody's in the Buffalo area, we have our next bar meetup tomorrow at Pubski Pub in Cheektowaga on William Street. So come on out, say hi. It's 50-cent wing night, $2 Jenny's. So cheap. It's a cheap one. I made it super cheap this month because I know the holidays are tough on people. Plus, we have the in-person game on the 20th that we're going to be doing a little something for too, but I'll get into that more next week. But yeah, come on out, say hi.
Yep. And then on the 16th, as you were saying, they were playing the Red Wings. And on the 19th of December, they're playing the Vancouver Canucks. And then on the 20th, as you just said, against the Buffalo Sabres. And then on the 23rd, right before Christmas, they played the New Jersey Devils. We're actually doing our holiday special on the 23rd. We're doing it on the 23rd of December, not Christmas Eve, because we all got shit going on. So just be prepared for that one.
All right. Well, hopefully I'll make that one. I missed the Thanksgiving one.
Yeah, that's for certain. And then on the 27th is the New York Rangers. I'm trying my best to get tickets to that game. I hope I could do it. And then on the 28th, they play Columbus. And then to wrap up 2025, They're on the road on the 30th against the Chicago Blackhawks. And we actually have an interview with a former Islander. We're not going to say who it is. That interview will be released down the wire. You guys will know ahead of time from us. Just trust me. I know what I'm doing. But yeah, no.
Maybe.
So yeah, definitely. But yeah, no. So before we move on, how do you feel about the Islanders right now? Do you think they're in that contention for the Cup?
Well, Sorokin's back in form finally. He was the first starter this week. The offense seems to be clicking again. Sorokin's stat line last week, he was 3-0, a 1.33 goals against, a 960 save percentage, and that one shutout we talked about previously. Richie is looking better. He's heating up. I don't know if you saw that goal from behind the net through his legs against Tampa. That was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
His passing is also getting much better, too. I say the one weak spot on the team, and I really wouldn't say it's much of a weak spot, is Kyle McLean. Still taking too many penalties. Doesn't seem to be putting in enough points. It is nice seeing Gatcomb on that line because I think Gatcomb has re-energized Casey Cizikas because Cizikas has been playing a hell of a lot better since Gatcomb came up. But the only other thing I really have to say about this team is every time they go in the shootout, why no Shabanov in the shootout? Why? This dude was a shootout specialist in Russia. But we keep putting Barzal out there. He's not getting it done. This dude cannot score in the shootout.
Well, I think it's more of a popularity contest in the shootout. I think you and
I think it is too, because he keeps running out Barzal, Holmstrom, Horvat. Barzal, Holmstrom, Horvat. And I agree with Holmstrom. He can be sneaky. He's got a good shot. And I definitely agree with Horvat. Barzal, he's got to get out of the shootout.
Yeah.
This dude, I can't watch it anymore.
Does it make like your skin crawl whenever that happens?
As I said it to my kids, I'm like, oh, maybe this is when they're gonna put Shabanov in. And then my daughter's like, I hope. And I'm like, it's gonna be Barzal. It's gonna be Barzal. And then sure enough, Matt Barzal. And we were like, oh my God. And he didn't score.
Well, let me ask you this. Would you feel better? And this is just my general opinion for MVP as of for right now, because Sorokin's been playing great. I have another contender for the shootout, Emil Heineman.
Well, yeah, he actually got in there because when it went to the fourth round, my daughter and I were sitting there thinking, it was like, do you think it's going to be Shabanov? And I was like, I doubt it. I said, I think it's going to be Emil Heineman. And sure enough, it was, and he scored. So,
you know, I honestly think I have really grown to like him. I really have. And
it's the proctologist.
Well,
that's what they're calling him.
Yeah, right. But you know what's funny too is that ever since the trade with the Canadians over the summer for Dobson, it's always just been, you don't trade guys like Heineman. You don't trade guys like Heineman. The meme has been everywhere. Everywhere. Yeah, X, Instagram. The meme never dies when Emil Heineman is ever brought up for anything. It's like, boom, he's become this worldwide phenomenon, at least in the Long Island perspective. But I know, I fucking love Emil Heineman, man. He's not the flashiest player, but he gets the job done when needed. And when he steps up, he comes up clutch. Yeah. I'm almost ready to call him Mr. Clutch at this point.
Well, he hits. I think he's leading the team in hits. He can pass well. He's got a great shot. I mean, yeah, is he playing above his skis right now? Yes. I mean, his shooting percentage is unreal, and he's been coming down to earth a little bit more the last couple weeks. But him and Horvat, they got something going on that top line. Love to see it.
Yeah, no, man. I mean, it's really clicking. But one more thing, and we'll get to the Sabres, is how would you feel? Because the rumors have been flying lately. Is the Devils have been linked to Quinn Hughes, and they want to bring him there to New Jersey. How would you feel if the Islanders presented an offer to him?
I'd be fine with that. Or if New Jersey wanted to bring Hughes in and Who's that other defenseman? I can't think of it off the top of my head right now.
Oh,
that the Islanders were linked to.
Kiefer Sherwood.
No, not Kiefer Sherwood. Fuck him. No, the other the Czech player. I think he was Czech.
On the Canucks?
No, on the Devils.
Oh, on the Devils. I don't know.
The young defenseman, the right-handed shot.
Simon Nemec?
Nemec, that's it. Maybe if the Devils made a play for Hughes, maybe that would shake Nemec loose for the Islanders.
Maybe.
I'd be happy with that, too.
Well, the one thing I've consistently heard as of late is there is a rumor that the Canucks really like Nico Hischier. And I'm saying to myself, is that even necessary to even bring his name up? Like, I understand you're trading for Quinn Hughes, and I understand you want to keep the core together, but you got to give the get. If I were a Devils fan, I would say I'm in favor of giving up Dawson Mercer than I am with Nico Hischier. Because Nico Hischier is their cap from crying out loud. Those are players like him don't grow on trees. Neither is Quinn Hughes. Yep. But the Devils put themselves in this very interesting narrative. Like, you have Jack Hughes and you have Luke Hughes already, but you want to bring in Quinn. You want to have the brothers play together, which is probably going to happen one way or the other. But I feel like it's really risky.
Yeah, and then get the foil out, boys. Let's go. It's going to be like the Hanson brothers and slap shot.
Oh, yes. That's very true. That is very true. But, yeah, speaking of tinfoil hats, how about the Buffalo Sabres?
How about them?
Oh, my God. They suck.
Well, I'll do the quick recap for everybody. So, since the last time we talked, they lost to the Flyers 5-2. Then they lost to Jay's Winnipeg Jets 4-1. Then they lost to the Calgary Flames 7-4 before finally salvaging a win against the Edmonton Oilers 4-3 in overtime, which they almost ended up blowing that game too.
I mean, knowing the Buffalo Sabres, I'm not surprised by this because I feel like every single time, whenever I see the Sabres in any fashion, I don't care who they're playing, every single time that they feel like they have momentum coming in their way, and then it's like, for example, the Edmonton game. And if I'm not mistaken, they were up 3-0 midway through the game, and then Connor McDavid ties it with 1.1 second left.
Yeah, it was like 2 seconds left. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. And then having to beat them in overtime, I think.
Yeah, well, Tuck bailed them out 33 seconds into overtime, or they would have blown that game, and it would have been 0-4 for the week. I mean, it just kept getting progressively worse. I mean, they lost to the Flyers, huge. Then they lost to the Jets, huge. Then they lost to the Flames, huge. None of the games were even close.
No, and what's even sadder is as of this recording, the Sabres are 12-14-4 with 28 points, and they're literally below 500. And they're literally in last place in the Eastern Conference. I mean, it's so bad the Leafs were there at one point, and the Leafs are at least trying to turn it around. But the Sabres are never turning it around. I mean,
well, it was like the Leafs were down in last place, they turned it around. The Rangers were down in last place, they're back up. But it doesn't matter what the Sabres do. When you open up the standings, they're always right there in last. It doesn't seem like they even move.
No, it's pathetic because it's like I've been seeing a lot of articles lately, at least on Instagram or whatnot, was maybe you could clarify this, is there's been a lot of rumors from the Daily Face-Off and a bunch of other, podcasts I listen to, and they referring to the Buffalo Sabres as this toxic environment where the players are trying to get it, they're trying to settle up as much as they can. Players like Dahlin and Thompson desperately want out. They haven't demanded it yet, but I've got a very strong feeling that that it's going to take one of the two to say, I want out, I want to be traded. Because in the beginning of the year, Dahlin said that he wants to see the team get better, and they're not getting better. They're cheap, they don't want to spend, and they're almost willing to say, you know what, we like mediocrity, but we're willing to accept it. But you've already lost Jack Eichel. You've already lost Sam Reinhart. You've already lost Ryan O'Reilly. And you've already produced 3 Stanley Cup winners. What's next? You're going to trade Tage Thompson to Rasmus Dahlin, trade him out west to teams that are actually competitive? Like, what the fuck does Buffalo do in that situation?
Yeah, well, Tage Thompson's on one of the most team-friendly contracts. Dude's only making $7 million a season. That is such a steal for what he.
That's nothing.
I mean, anybody would take it.
That's nothing.
Anybody. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's so team-friendly.
Yeah, and considering the cap is going up every year, holy balls! I mean, listen, I would give up this year's first that they got from Colorado. Just give that to Buffalo, just so that they can get Tage Thompson. I would.
Well, yeah, Tage Thompson's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot because he's on that team-friendly contract, and he's pretty much a 40-goal scorer. Could be a 50 if he went someplace else, maybe.
That's what I'm saying.
So it's going to take a lot. I mean, you're talking like 2 firsts, maybe a second, a prospect or 2. It's going to be a lot to get him out.
Well, let me put it this way. This is my proposal, and you can disagree with me. That's okay. If I'm the New York Islanders and I'm calling the Buffalo Sabres, I would say I give up the first-round pick they got from the Avs for Brock Nelson. Give up that. I would give up Victor Eklund or Cole Yzerman. I would give up Yzerman, honestly, in a deal for Thompson.
Yeah, I think they're going to want Yzerman, which is fine.
Yeah, so a first Yzerman and another player, another active player on the team. Maybe like, this might sound crazy, but JG Pajot, even though it's not that far-fetched. And then maybe like a third-round pick in like 2028 or something like that.
Yeah. I could see that. I think that's what it would take.
Yeah, and Larry actually said losing won't stop until they get a new owner. Yeah, that's the thing. Pegula is terrified of making any sort of change. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, when Glenn Parker came on the show, he said it in last week's interview. He said that Terry Pegula is scared to make mistakes because, you know, his other half, which is Kim Pegula, she had a major stroke over the summer a year ago, 2 years ago. She had a stroke. Yeah, and Terry was completely lost. And when it came to hockey operations, she was the brains. And then now, because she's out of the picture at this point, she's not coming back. I mean, she's alive, but she's not going to be able to function like that again, ever. And Terry is just a lost soul at that point, and his imagery just faded to black. So at this point,
all right, Bobby, you and I will step in. We'll step in and take over the franchise.
Thank you. And you know what's funny? Tom and I have been talking about this for years. He'd be the coach and I'd be the GM. And
there you go.
And you know what? I have the brains, so I can certainly.
Well, if you guys are the coach and the GM, I guess I'll be the president of hockey operations.
Or if you want to fight me for the GM spot, go for it.
But like, they got more bad news this week too on the injury front because Zucker's out again. This time long term. That's his second stint out. Josh Norris got banged up. He's out again. That's his second stint being out this season. And then Colton Ellis, their goaltender, got a concussion in the last game. So now he's going to be done for a little bit. So now they're going to have to ride with Alex Lyons and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. And I know they were trying to trade Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. I don't know what suitors are out there and what they can get back for him.
Well, let's go through this together. Who needs a goaltender? Which team is in desperate need of a goal?
It's always Edmonton.
Well, yeah, Edmonton is definitely one. I can see Pittsburgh actually throwing a bone for this one, honestly.
I can see Pittsburgh. I think the Jets right now because Hellebuck's out.
No, I don't think they're going to do that because if you trade UPL to the Jets, then Hellebuck's going to throw a fit, and he's going to say,
Hellebuck's out for a bit, though. He's going to be out for a bit.
But he's not out for the whole season, though. That's
not for the whole season, but he's going to be out for a bit.
Or, I mean, I'll put it this way even. Like, how about Philadelphia? Philadelphia could probably use a goalie because the last time I checked, Sam Ersson is their starter, and then there was another goalie because Carter Hart's not there. He went to Vegas. So
yeah, he's on Vegas.
Yeah, Philadelphia. I wouldn't even be surprised if someone like Colorado throws their name around there because Colorado, I know they have Scott Wedgwood and they have Mackenzie Blackwood. I get it. But Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen could provide balance in that organization.
Yeah, I can't get a read on him this year because some games he looks really good and other games he looks lost. But I don't know if that's because he plays on the Sabres. So I don't know. I don't
It's
know
hard.
how good of a goaltender he is.
Or how about Utah? Utah wouldn't be a bad option.
True. But you know, it was crazy because I was watching part of the Calgary broadcast, and the Calgary Flames were talking about, they're one of the worst teams this year too, and they're talking about, tearing it down to the studs and rebuilding, and they were talking about how it's a caution. The Buffalo Sabres are a cautionary tale not to do that. Like, don't tear it down to the studs to try and get a high draft pick because you bring in that culture of losing and it's really, really hard to shake.
Yeah,
And the Sabres are going on near 15 years of this now.
which is unacceptable.
So
It's unacceptable. I mean, I feel bad for Sabres fans because it's like they all these people want is a good, capable, competent, professionally run team. And the Sabres are run by clowns. They're run by Kevin Adams, who's a fucking clown. Tom has said on the show he needs to go. And I agree with him. That dude has done nothing since he's been GM. He doesn't even have any experience, mind you. And the only reason that he's there is because he's a good little boy and he's a yes man for the Pagula family. That's the only reason why he's there.
What's sad is, like I said, we'll be going to the game next Saturday, the 20th, when the Islanders are in town. And I guarantee you that game's going to be either a sellout or very close. And the Sabres are not very good this year, but the fans are still out there supporting them.
I mean, there are diehard fans, and I respect them for that. But I will say, from a format of like a fan like myself, I would say that, I wouldn't be surprised if if it was all Islander fans. I wouldn't be surprised. And usually they sell out. Leaf fans, they always sell out.
There'll be some Islander fans. Unfortunately, you'll get more when it's not on top of the holidays. Because you get a lot of Long Island kids that go to UB, University of Buffalo, Buffalo State, Canisius. So this time of year, they're all unfortunately be back on Long Island. So there's going to be less Islander fans, but we usually are still pretty good.
Usually. And we got a comment from Around the Ropes from John. Hey, what's up, John? We miss you, guy.
What's up, John?
Yeah, can't wait to see you in January, kid. So
just in time for the hot Sabres talk. What do you guys say?
He's probably going to say the same thing he said about the Giants. They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
They don't have a clue what they're doing, and they've been running this shit show for 15 years. But we have another shit show we're going to get to in a little bit. But there's a couple more things I want to get into. The first one is that the 2026 Heritage Classic has been announced, and it will be taking place at Princess Auto Stadium in Winnipeg, Manitoba, in October the 25th, between the Winnipeg Jets and the Montreal Canadiens.
Yep. Are you going?
Why would I go? I'm not a Jet fan.
I don't know. I'm going to sit this one out. So
I know Jay would probably do everything in his power to be sure that he goes to that game. And for those of you who don't know what Princess Auto Stadium is, if any of you non-CFL fans out there, that is the home of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the CFL. So there you go.
Name one player from that team.
I can't. And Jay said, hell yeah, Jets. Are you going to go to the game? Because if I were you, I'd start saving. Fuck, man. But, speaking of fuck, the Kings are in a bit of a dire situation because apparently Jim Hiller might be out of a job pretty soon. And there is a report that the LA Kings have, quote, had advanced discussions with former Golden Knights head coach Pete DeBoer for their head coaching gig. And Pete was fired after the 24-25 season by the Dallas Stars, is content with where he is at the moment and a deal with the Kings would, quote, seemingly need to be substantial for Pete DeBoer to sign with them right as of this moment.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised that, like, how many people are always in the market for Pete DeBoer, because he goes someplace, he has a hot start, and then they kind of cool off, and they never win anything. But, I mean, for the LA Kings, is it really a coaching issue? I think it's more of the GM, Ken Holland. And thank God we dodged that bullet with the Islanders.
I mean, I remember telling Tom about this, and I said when the Islanders were in the discussion for a new GM, it was between Mark Bergevin, Ken Holland, or Matthew Darche. I said, give the nod to Matthew Darche. And the Islanders did the right thing for once, and they hired the right guy. And hiring Darche right now has been the best thing to happen to the New York Islanders, because they're now able to build a culture. They have a very nice future ahead of them with 3 first-rounders this past draft and a top 10, top 5, or even top 2, prospect pool. And Darche is really turning the culture around in Long Island, so it's going to be great.
For sure. I mean, if they had hired Ken Holland, it would have just been Lou Lamoriello 2.0. It would have been the same.
Well, it's kind of too bad at this point because Lou is still with the Islanders as an advisor to
I don't know
Malkin.
exactly what he's doing, but, whatever.
He's probably going to be like Brian Burke, where he goes on podcasts and he shakes hands and tells stories about his career.
Yeah, it's just weird how, like, people, like, coaches, GMs, presidents, whatever, players come to the Islanders, and they say they don't want to come to the Islanders, but then once they're there, they never leave.
Yeah.
Except for the snake. Because fuck him.
Yeah, really. We will never mention John Tavares in this case ever again, because fuck that guy. And Jay said, I'll go if you guys go. Well, unfortunately for you, Jay, I am not going to Canada. I have a newborn baby on the way. David
I'm not even sure if I'm allowed in Canada anymore, so...
What do you mean you're not allowed in Canada anymore? The fuck you talking about?
You'll have to speak to my lawyer on that.
And then he said, though, Dame, tough test tomorrow with the Ducks, and should the Islanders be scared of Leo Carlson? I'm going to say no. He's a good player.
You always say no. You always say no.
I say no because, am I wrong?
The Ducks are a surprise team this year. They are looking very, very good, and they got a lot of young talent over there. So I think it'll be a tough test, only because of the speed factor of the Ducks.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Joe Quenneville is the coach, and so of course he's going to make the team better. But all I'm implying is that Coach Q, good coach, he did his due diligence, but the Ducks have a very good team on paper, and I think they're going to get better from here on out. So I'm not too sure yet, like how they're going to produce on the ice, but we'll see what they do.
Well, I think they're in for a downfall somewhere during this season. I don't think they're quite there yet, but they are having a good season.
Yeah, no, I'm not taking anything away from Anaheim. They're a very good team on paper. I mean, they're so good right now. They're literally ahead of Vegas and LA in the top 3 in the Pacific Division.
And you know who else they have? Ross the Boss Johnson.
That's damn straight. Fuck. And they also
I wish we had him still.
Well, maybe you could thank Lou for that one. God damn it. I mean, Garth Snow didn't really do anything with him either. I wish there was some sort of like role.
They signed him to that $1 million deal, hoping that nobody would ever claim him off waivers, and then all of a sudden Anaheim swooped in and took him.
Yep, that's all she wrote. God damn it. So we pretty much got done with the hockey side of things, but now I have no choice, friends. I gotta switch my hat to the Mets because...
Yeah, I burned all mine. Just kidding. I would never do that.
Yep. And then Jay said, damn, they need to watch Troy Terry. He's number 9 in assists. Yeah, I know. Troy Terry is pretty damn good. He's so good that he requested a trade a while ago. But I guess that was when they were shit. But I guess they're not shit now.
No. He's happy now. Winning solves a lot of things. Buffalo should take some lessons.
Yeah, they should. But if you want to talk about stupid and incompetent, now that I switched up the hats, let's talk about the New York goddamn fucking Mets. Oh my God. Fucking shit. I did not think in a million years. Like, I know disappointment is a very low expectation to have for any team, and we're used to this shit with the Mets, but holy fuck. Our expectations just went from really high for World Series contenders to just down to the barrel. And I told my coworkers this all fucking afternoon when I heard about the whole incident, which we're going to get to in a little bit. Oh my God. So
you're getting red already.
Yeah. And then Jay said it best. What the fuck are the Mets doing this offseason?
I don't think anybody knows. I don't even know. I'm hoping Stearns knows, but I have no idea.
Well, let's just hope that that cheap little fuck doesn't do anything stupid. Oh yeah, that's right. He did something stupid. He traded Nemo just to save up $30 million. The Nemo trade I wasn't really thinking through about, because I'm like, fine, whatever. You have to dump money. He's a good player. He'll be missed. And then you let Edwin Diaz go to the goddamn Dodgers for 3 years at $69 million. And it came out that Juan Soto became a total cancer. And then on top of all that, he wanted more years and more money from the Mets. And the Mets said, nope, we're going to cheap out and we're going to use that money on the fucking airbender.
You know what I want to know, and I don't mean to have this come off as sounding racist or anything, but what happened to all the white players on the Mets? They're all gone. You get rid of Nimmo, you get rid of Alonso, now we got the squirrel. That's all that's left.
Everybody's saying, oh, Jeff McNeil's going to get traded this offseason. Yeah, fuck your
Probably.
Yeah, if that was anywhere near true, we should have been traded today. Dude, I'm so fucking pissed when it comes to the Mets. And then Jay said, I didn't want to sign Devin Williams. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, no shit,
dude,
Jay.
I don't think anybody really did, but now he's our closer.
I said last week, if they were able to sign Edwin Diaz and keep Devin Williams, I would have said the Mets would have had the best 1-2 punch closers in baseball next season. But nope, that's not even going to be close to
that's
happening.
already done.
Yeah, you can read this one.
Oh, Dodgers are going to win another championship next year. Mets and Yankees are doing nothing next year. Yankees won't win with Hal Steinbrenner. So glad Soto didn't sign with the Yankees. Good luck with Williams. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like I'm not really sure right now the direction of the Mets right now. But with what the Dodgers are doing, it's getting to the point where I might just boycott the season. There's really no fucking point of even watching. I just don't get it.
So you're already checked out before the opening pitch.
Kind of, and it's like all people keep saying is like, well, Stearns' role in this is to make a winning team, and with the core players that they had for the last 5 years under Cohen, the Mets owner, that they couldn't get it done. But that really wasn't on that core. They had no fucking pitching whatsoever. And whose fault is that? Stearns. So I don't like that narrative that's going around now, that the core just couldn't get it done. Let's see how good the core four of the Yankees would have done if they had the fucking pitching staff that the Mets had last year, instead of Pettit and players like that. It's like, get the fuck out of here.
Well,
get out of here.
Well, they also bought their championships, Damian. I mean, legitimate.
Yeah.
I find this.
They did to a certain degree, but is it anything like what the Dodgers are doing right now?
Absolutely not.
It's not even fucking close.
No,
at least the Yankees had some homegrown talent. The Dodgers just go out there and get whoever the fuck they want.
Well, yeah, this is also kind of what happens when there's no fucking salary cap in baseball. And
there's going to be a problem. It's heading to a lockout. It's heading to a lockout again, and I don't feel bad for baseball because you're just destroying it for the 30, 31 other teams in baseball. Like,
yeah. And the argument was that teams like the Pirates, the Twins, the White Sox, those teams needed to spend money. But there is one team on that list that I did not mention that did spend money. And that team, and you know where I'm going with this, is the Baltimore Orioles. Because they signed Pete Alonso to a 5-year deal for $155 million. Go.
I mean, I wanted Alonso back. I wanted Alonso to be a Met for life. It would have been nice to have our Derek Jeter here and actually have a player for life do his whole career with the Mets. The Mets were only willing to do 3 years, which would have been Pete's years 31, 32, and 33. He ended up getting a 5-year deal. I think I could have stomached that if I was the Mets. Yes, you would have seen some decline on the back end. You had to make it happen, especially after losing Nimmo and losing Diaz this month already.
It's such a disaster. It's like, I don't know what the Mets are trying to be. Are they trying to be a contender for the World Series? Are they trying to build around that core? Like, I know what you meant earlier when you said that, I didn't like it when they couldn't win with the core they had. They were 1 game short or 2 games short from the World Series, not even 18 months ago. And Here we are. They went from World Series expectations, signing Soto, top 5 in the betting odds to win the World Series. Injuries galore in the offseason. Injuries galore in the All-Star break, because this is the traditional way of the Mets of doing things, is that they have a red-hot start to the year, and then after the All-Star break, they just fall to shit.
Yeah. And then lose and get eliminated from the playoffs on the last game of the season against Florida, which has happened like 3 times now.
Which is abysmal. Oh my god! And here I say to myself that I thought the Mets were going to be legit. And wait a minute, while we're on the air, didn't Steve Cohen say that the Mets were going to win a championship in 5 years within his ownership? Didn't he say something like that?
Probably.
Fuck.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy that I read today, though. As of right now, in 2029, the Mets only have 2 players signed in 2029, and that's Lindor and Soto. That's it.
Are you shitting me?
In 2029, those are the only 2 players that are on the books for the Mets. I was like, that's just crazy. I mean, like I said, I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt to see what these moves are leading to. But right now, I have no fucking clue where they're leading. I don't.
Oh, I do, because I got some information earlier about. I'm no insider, for disclaimer. I am no insider. But I do get a lot of information, just like everybody else on X, about the information. But I will justify something. And that is that in spite of all the bullshit that happened earlier today, for one, congrats to Pete on the contract. 2, people were saying, he doesn't deserve that contract. Bullshit. Pete Alonso deserves that contract within every inch of his body at this point. I mean, he's won the home run derby twice, and he's one of the all-time greats. If I'm not mistaken, he's the all-time home runs leader in Mets history. And then you let him go for nothing, and then he goes to Baltimore, takes the money, and shoo, goes, bye, see you later. And then all of a sudden, now, you spend that money that you could have used on this free agent class, and instead you got that little precious casino right next door to Citi Field, and you spent about, $8 billion on it, which will be completed by 2030. And the worst part about all this, Damian, is that I found out is that of all the players that the Mets are intertwined with right now, I've heard the name Paul Goldschmidt as a possible candidate to replace Pete Alonso.
No. That sounds horrible.
Paul Goldschmidt. He's like 40.
Yeah, that sounds horrible.
Yeah, and then the worst part about all this, you want to know the worst part? This is a good kick in the balls because this is what they do to the Mets fans. This is what they do every year. Hang on. They pull the shit every year because it's the Mets. They did not offer a qualifying offer to neither Pete or Edwin Diaz. Diaz got pissed when he found out about the Devin Williams contract. He said, fuck this, because the Mets never told him. They didn't say, hey, we're getting the airbender, by the way. And Pete never got a qualifying offer from the Mets. Immediately after he signed with the Orioles, they had a chance to one-up it, but he said no. And so I'm like, fuck that noise. And then they are linked to Paul Goldschmidt, and they're not even on Kyle Tucker, nor are they on Cody Bellinger. Are you fucking serious?
I don't know what they're doing. But we do have a couple comments here.
A shit.
Jay, Vientos was bad last season. Yeah, he was extremely horrible. Made even worse by Crow Armstrong's strong start last year, but at least he fell off with the Cubs. And then Larry said Rivera, Jeter, Pettit, Williams all came from the Yankees farm system as a core of 4. That's what I said earlier. And then Jay, maybe space for Cody. Well, you already said that's already out.
They didn't even throw a qualifying offer to Cody Bellinger or Kyle Tucker. Makes no sense at all. And it's like, what are the Mets like? What is their vision? Are they just completely tearing it down and just starting a new core and building around Soto? Because it's not like you gave him $765 fucking million for the next 14 years for something like this. You don't just do that and just blow it up. I know there was conflict within the ball club and then the bullpen and in the clubhouse with like Carlos Mendoza. I know there's been conflict, but it's utter bullshit that the Mets let away 3 fan favorites go all in the same offseason just for everything else. What the fuck are the Mets doing? I don't understand this.
No idea, but they're not going to sell too many tickets this year.
No, they won't. And next year, as you said, there's a lockout. And Jay just said the Mets' vision is get hitters but no pitchers. This is the problem they've been dealing with for a year. Is that getting Soto was great. It provided the offense, but no pitching. That's why they got Devin Williams. Because they said they needed a pitcher. I would have no issue with the Mets if they were able to keep Diaz and sign Devin Williams. If they did both and kept both, I would have said, fine, cool. Offseason's done. Now, everybody's looking at this, and they're going to say, wow, this team is shit. Yeah, of course they're going to look at it. You let Alonso go to the Orioles. Diaz went to the Dodgers. Nemo got traded. I mean, what else could you possibly fucking do? And then Larry just said the Mets will trade Soto in the next 2 to 4 years because he will become a cancer to a team.
I think it's going to be true. He's going to be a cancer. He's already becoming a cancer on this team.
I think the money got into his head, honestly. But New York is not like any small town like area. Like New York is the biggest pressured city in the world when it comes to sports, especially with the Mets. They don't fuck around with the Mets over here. Oh my God. Like, I think this is the most angry on the show I've ever been pissed off when it came to baseball. I'm so sick of their shit because it's like there's no vision. You have no idea what you're going to do next. Everyone says, trust the process. Does that sound familiar, Bills? Does that sound familiar? Yeah, trust the process. When I hear people say trust the process, it really means I don't have a fucking clue what I'm doing. Oh, my God. Fuck, man. The only thing that comes out of this is the White Sox got the first overall pick in the draft lottery the other night.
Yeah. I don't know. The draft lottery is not the same in baseball as it is in other sports.
Usually it's not, but it's whatever, you know. At that point, I'm so sick of their shit. Everybody had a pretty bad day in Mets land, and it's not even close. It's not close. And the fact that the Mets legitimately said fuck Pete Alonso and fuck Edwin Diaz in a 24-hour span tells me more about Steve Cohen and about David Stearns more than it does about the financial standpoint about the New York Mets. I don't think this has anything to do with the Juan Soto contract. It's a big part of it, but I don't think it's the entire ordeal. I think it has something to do with the $8 billion that Cohen provided for the Hard Rock Casino right next door to City Field. Those funds could have really came in handy for the free agent class this year.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just hoping that their owner is not caught up in like a Ponzi scheme again.
Well, when you have this much influence and this much money, politics certainly plays a big factor, and you know very well.
But the last time the Mets were good and all of a sudden they stopped spending money was when, the coupons over there, the Wilpons, were in the Ponzi scheme and lost all that money.
Some people even said bring back the Wilpons.
Yeah, I saw that too. I'm like, all right, let's not go crazy now.
Like, I thought about it throughout the day, and I said, well, unless they have a bigger grand scheme plan, like if they trade for like Fernando Tatis Jr., then this was an absolute failure of an offseason for the Mets.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're going to have to do trades now, and I don't know. They don't really have enough pieces to really offer.
No, they don't. Unless you get like Kyle Tucker or Cody Bellinger, you are not getting very far.
Yeah. And neither one of those players really do anything for me.
No, me neither. But I think that's about it for this week's show. And I know we went on and on about the Mets, but I think it was important to talk about because of the idea that...
Oh, it was really important to talk about the Mets.
It's a goddamn disgrace. I have never in my life since doing the show, maybe probably since you've gotten here, this is the most angry I've ever been regarding baseball. Holy shit.
I don't know. I'm significantly older than you, so I mellowed out with age. So I try not to let my sports teams get to me anymore, especially the Mets, because they will disappoint you over and over again. It's like that old Artie Lang joke. Like I said, he's like, root for the Jets. He's like, maybe a girl will not fuck you, but the Jets will always fuck you.
Yep. And then Larry says, good show, guys. Deep breath, Bob. Thanks, Larry, for the words of wisdom. I appreciate that. But it's kind of hard to do that when your team just literally sold away your franchise player.
Yep.
And then Jay said, Buffalo Bob's going to throw a fit if the Bills lose on Sunday. Of course I will, because it's the Bills. The Bills are my livelihood at this point. The Islanders.
Yeah, but like I told you, it would be nice if the Bills won the AFC. Sure. Do they need to win the AFC East? No. So it's just about getting in the playoffs.
Just get in the playoffs. That's all I care about at this point. So I think before we get out of here, I have one comment to say real quick, is that if you guys are interested, the interview that me and Tom did a while back with Seymour H. Knox IV is available now on both YouTube and on Spotify. So if you have not seen that interview, go check it out. I think you guys are going to get a really cool inside feeling about this guy. And we're the only podcast on YouTube, or let alone on the web, to actually get him to come on anything. And there's no interviews on Spotify. There's no podcast interviews other than us to have this guy on. So it's actually a pleasure that we even had Seymour on the show. And he's coming on next week with Gil Martin for the Islanders Sabres game preview on Wednesday, which is 3 days before the game.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say, Damien, before we get out of here?
No, like I just said, we're doing the bar meetup tomorrow, Pubsky Pub, Cheektowaga on William Street. Come out and join us. Game starts at 7. So we might stay for a little bit of the Sabres game afterwards, because the Sabres game starts at 10, I believe. Yeah,
that's for certain. So with that being said, go check out Damien with the Guns Buffalo meetup. Go to Cheektowaga, hang out with the damn guy. He doesn't bite. And, yeah. So,
unless you ask or you pay extra. or buy me a beer.
or take a picture of your feet and then go on Feet Finder.
Oh wow! How do you know? How do you know how I make my money now?
Oh yeah. But yeah, no.
Now you crossed the line. That's it.
It's not that bad. But yeah, so we're gonna get out of here. I'm your host, Buffalo Bob. That's the Great Dame, aka Damien Megrut, and I'll talk to you guys next week, and we'll see you next week's on preview for the Sabres Island game. I'll talk to you guys later.
Right. Have a good week, guys.
You too.